I'm here at Outer Bike and I am going to test ride the Yeti Beti SB5. I've heard a lot about these Beti bikes. They're one of the most talked about women-specific rides. This one has 127 millimeters of travel in the rear, and the fork has got 150. Head tube angle is at 66.8, which is pretty close to the bike that I ride. So I threw my leg over one of these a couple years ago, but the geometry has changed quite a bit since then. So I'm excited to get on one again and see what it's like to pedal one of these. Look at the size of that granny gear. Nice and easy, lifting that front tire. This bike does feel kind of short in the cockpit, which is nice when I'm climbing. It's doing great on the climbs. For such a slack head angle, you don't get a ton of wander, I don't feel like. Steve brought a shock pump, so as an experiment we're gonna let like 10 more PSI out of the rear shock and see. It doesn't bob much when I'm climbing, but when I'm going down chunky stuff, it's not as smooth of a ride as I'm used to on my 5010. Oh, this bike is so loud. That could be part of what's freaking me out on the downhill chunky stuff too, is hearing all the cables or whatever it is slapping around kind of weirds me out. Going downhill, at first it was a little bit kind of jittery coming down the chunky stuff. I didn't feel super confident on it. We let a little more air out of the shock and it felt a little bit better, but still not as smooth as I had hoped going downhill on this bike. But I didn't have a lot of really great long stretches to carry this bike downhill. The cables, I could hear them clanking around. I think that was what I was hearing. I kind of got used to it, but that was a little obnoxious hearing stuff slapping around in the inside of this bike. It is a really fun, playful ride. As far as the climbs go, it is a great little climber, and I felt like when I'm coming up techie stuff, whether I'm pedaling or just trying to coast up something, it carries its momentum very, very well. A lot of times you kind of give your bike that extra push to get it over stuff, and it's just like a dream. So it's awesome at that. And same with the flat techie stuff. It's easy to carry momentum. This bike was really, really great with that. One thing I also noticed is that this bike tends to put my weight further forward, which I'm not used to, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think I have a tendency to kind of back off from things when I'm a little bit nervous, but I noticed that because this bike pushes me a little bit further forward, it was a little bit easier to steer through those switchbacks when I was going down. So that was great. I still like something that feels a little more aggressive in the stance, but this is a fantastic bike. It doesn't feel heavy at any point when you're going uphill. Love the way it climbed, love the way it carried me through a lot of the techie sections. If you're a woman and you're interested in riding some women-specific bikes, you should definitely hop on one of these Yeti Betis. You might love the riding position. It's not bad, it's just different, and we all have preferences, so it's worth giving one of these a trial.